Can Team USA give Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown the type of motivation they wouldn't find anywhere else this summer? Let's talk about it right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Thanks to Blockbuster Brand, it's holiday season, drop Drew in the mix. And 3 from KP, no, we not on the Knicks. Flushing competition like Al on Giannis. Juice and Big Juice, still Beantown's finest. Banner 18 going up in the rafters. Watch the C's game in locked on after. Karalis on the breakdown. Clutch like a tip from D. White on the breakdown. John on the mic, documenting domination. Matter pen a back bay, it's all C's nation. Rain and J's, how we started, raising business, how we finish. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. Peace.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. This week, it's Monday through Friday. Next week, we start a little run of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 3 days a week. Maybe it's not exactly Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but 3 days a week as we hit the real downtime in the NBA offseason, but still more podcasting than you're going to find anywhere else. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. Watch the show on YouTube, get into the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm John Karalis, used to play. Now I'm covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I'm also the author of Built Different, a book commemorating Celtics 18th championship. Find it online. Or if you're around New England, bookstores or Walgreens or Sam's Club or BJ's. Today, we're talking about Team USA, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, still the lingering topic. This is the Wednesday show. By the time you listen to this, maybe Jayson Tatum has played against South Sudan, but the damage seems to have been done. There's a ton of reaction since it happened, ton of reaction to Jaylen Brown and his kind of back and forth. So we'll get into all of that. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Sports have slowed down, but FanDuel is hooking everybody up. New customers, existing customers with a booster bonus every day. So there's something for everyone all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So let's get into this conversation. And we'll bring in Tom Westerholm. What's up, Tom?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Tom writes about the Celtics for Boston.com, and you can find his work there, especially during the season. Great takeaways after games. So let's start with this. Let's start with the Jayson Tatum thing. That's the big thing. But we'll fold in at some point here Jaylen Brown and his kind of back and forth with Grant Hill, which I kind of don't like how Team USA has handled a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I think Grant Hill tried. I think Steve Kerr tried. I just don't think that they've hit the mark on any of this. But I want to start, Tom, with Charles Barkley, who basically said, you got to find playing time for everybody. Like Jayson Tatum's DNP, Kerr can say this is how it went, and you know, every game there might be somebody else who doesn't play, and all of that. Charles Barkley was on the original Dream Team, and he kind of made the best point in all of this. You cannot ask 12 elite NBA players to give up a portion of their summer, especially guys who just won a championship, and their summer is especially valuable. You can't ask these guys to come in and practice and sacrifice their time and energy and time away from their families and all that stuff. And then once the Olympics start, they don't play. That, I think, may have been the best point to come out of this. It's not disrespectful to Jayson Tatum in the sense of, well, he should play because he's accomplished all of this stuff. No, he should have played, and Steve Kerr needs to figure out. Same goes for Tyrese Halliburton. The same goes for whichever two guys might not play against South Sudan. These guys have decided and to come along and say, hey, I will play for Team USA. I will contribute to this gold medal. You can't disrespect them by saying, you just got no minutes for you this time around.
Well, and I understand that there are guys who have been around longer on the team, but it's also tough when it's a guy who's already won a gold medal. You know, like this is not some guy who's just along for the ride, who's just like, ooh, but maybe if I join this team, I can win Olympic gold. Like this is
like Joel Embiid.
I wasn't going to name names. I figured you might. I think Charles kind of hits it on the head. I mean, to me, a big part of the issue is less about, minutes distribution. And a lot of it is just kind of roster construction. It's just like, if you're, this is the problem admittedly, this is the problem that you run into when you have this much talent on the team, right? Like, I think we can all kind of look at the team and kind of agree that, like, hey, guys are going to get their minutes squeezed a bit, but especially, but squeezed is different than DNP. Like, DNP is like that's a lot. That is a, disrespectful is a big word to throw around, right? Especially about a very accomplished NBA head coach, but we're talking about a highly accomplished player. Like that it's you have to avoid being disrespectful.
Everybody here is highly accomplished.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, the playing field has been leveled.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, agreed. And I think that kind of speaks to it, right? It's like Tatum is like to not bring him in is a level of disrespect. And that's part of being the head coach of Team USA. Like, your job is to navigate all of this stuff. And to your point, I don't think it was navigated well. And I especially don't think it was handled well. In, the explanations given were not, exactly satisfactory. So yeah, I think I'm with Charles. I think, you as the head coach of Team USA, you are not in an easy position, but you are in a, but you have to figure this out. And if you can't, then it's a roster construction issue, right? Like, because then if you can't figure it out, then you have to figure out a way. Okay, then don't bring all these stars. Then,
That's right.
Role players who are going to be happy to be there and who can contribute on the margins. If you don't feel like Jayson Tatum can contribute on the margins, I don't know what we all watched this season, because like he's facilitating and, kind of doing what he needed to do. And if you can't find a place for that guy, I don't know what we're doing here. But if you can't, then you have to find more guys like Derek White, more guys like, although Derek White played obviously, but then you have to find more guys who it's not as much of a statement if they don't play.
Yeah, no, that's right. You need to construct a basketball team. And this goes back to now the Jaylen Brown stuff a little bit, where I've said multiple times, if you're building this team from scratch, I might not have made some of these choices. You might have said Jaylen Brown deserves to be there instead of maybe one or two of these guys. But because of the construction of this team, once Kawhi Leonard opted out, then Derek White made perfect sense. And maybe you need more Derek Whites. Maybe you do need more of these guys that are the connective guys, the guys that can hit shots and make these little plays here and there, and can sit there and obviously be like, well, I don't expect to play over LeBron James. I don't expect to play. But the Tatum thing, it does kind of play into the decision making. The roster construction is certainly a great point. The decision making from Steve Kerr to say, okay, I'm basically playing two units. And this is like, he backed himself into a corner here, saying, I'm playing 5 starters and I'm playing this unit as off the bench, and I'm going to maybe mix it up a little bit in between, but basically it's these 5 or these 5. And you don't give yourself the out of saying, hey, I started Joel Embiid, it's not going well, I'm going to now sub in Tatum, or I'm going to sub in Bam, and like Tatum can come in for LeBron. And LeBron played 27 minutes, which in and of itself is not a lot, but it's the most on the team. And he easily could have played 24 minutes, could have played 22 minutes, and you can shave here and there, and everybody can get a little bit of time. So it is a tough job, but that is the job that Kerr signed up for. You have 12 NBA players, some of the most
NBA
elite
stars.
players.
12 NBA stars.
NBA stars. Yes. You have first team all NBA guys. You have all NBA players who there is an expectation there. And this plays to the motivation, right? Like, now Jayson Tatum is sitting there, even if he plays every minute the rest of the way, you don't have to give an NBA player more than one little morsel of disrespect. The first game that mattered, Tatum was benched. And now everything from now on is a reaction to that.
Yeah.
And so if I'm Jayson Tatum, and I'll let you chew on this for a second. If I'm Jayson Tatum, I don't care how much I play moving forward. I can sit there and be like, now he's only playing me because he was embarrassed into say, because Charles Barkley and Stephen A. Smith and all these people are screaming at him. And it's very obviously a poor decision on multiple levels. And so he has to play me now, or else this becomes a monster thing. So you have now given Jayson Tatum this thing, this fire at a time where maybe there wasn't even a spark. So let's talk about that in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. It's also the sports betting partner, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. We know sports have slowed down. There's still a lot out there, though. But if you want to open up that FanDuel app or go to FanDuel.com this summer, new customers, existing customers, you all can go and get a boost or a bonus every single day. So there's something for everybody every day, all summer long. You can also get into those futures like the Celtics over under 58.5 wins, which we've talked about here. Jayson Tatum being 9th in the All-Star in the MVP odds. You can maybe using this motivation here say, hey, maybe we could throw a couple of bucks on Jayson Tatum because he's going to be motivated to become even better. So who knows? But you can just go there, FanDuel.com. You get that booster bonus every single day there. So go and make the most out of your summer and make the most out of the tools that they have there so you can set your limits and set your budget so you can gamble responsibly at FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Sports Today, streaming 24/7 on the YouTube and the YouTube. I'm saying that like an old man. And on the Amazon Free Fire TV channels app. So go check that out. Streaming all day, every day. It's real talk, real sports. No fake arguing. When we yell and scream at somebody like we're doing right now, we mean it. So go check that out. Let's bring Tom Westerholm back into this discussion here. And look, I'm looking at Jayson Tatum, who, as he was going into Vegas for the for training camp here, he was saying, "Oh yeah, I want to celebrate more. You know, I haven't celebrated enough." And now here comes day one of the Olympics, and he's sitting the whole game. And clearly, no one likes to sit. Just wonder if that lights a fire under him and say, "Wow, I cannot believe after everything I accomplished, after everything I just did, I'm gonna sit in the Olympics and everybody, it's like everybody sees it. It's so obvious. And now you have become a topic on all the sports talk shows for all the wrong reasons."
Well, and a big part of it too is like there's nothing else to talk about right now, right? Because
it makes
like
it worse.
It makes it so much worse because like, and not only is there nothing to talk about, there's not even that much to talk about with the Olympics, right? Like so far what we've seen, it's like you can manufacture some concern about this team if you work hard, but like, you know, so far so good. Like they haven't dropped any games. They've, you know, blown out some teams. They've, you know, like whatever. Like there's not a lot of drama here. And all of a sudden Steve Kerr just went, boop, drama. Here you go. You guys You guys need a day two of your little podcast. Need a little day two of something to talk about. I got you. And it's like, you know, and like that's what you do now. And I think, you know, if you're Tatum, it's like the motivation thing is funny, right? Because he just achieved the thing that like like he did the thing. He got to where he was trying to get to. It's like I'd be fascinated to know where his headspace is at, because I mean, you're 100% right. You give an athlete any opportunity to draw motivation from something and they're going to do it. If there was ever a time where Jayson Tatum might be completely zen about things, you would imagine it would be now. I would imagine that he's not, but like, you know, it's like if there was ever a time for him to be zen, it would be right in this instant. something you said before the break, I thought was kind of interesting. You mentioned like, you might bring somebody to the Olympics who would be like, yeah, obviously I'm not going to play over LeBron James. Like, I might get a DNP CD to LeBron James. And like that, yeah, like you might do that. And I think the key distinction with Tatum is not like that. I don't think that he probably thinks that he deserves to play over LeBron James necessarily, but like you can't DNP CD him, like, and that's the key distinction here. And I think if you're Tatum, like that's where the motivation thing gets kind of interesting, because on the one hand, for sure, like LeBron has been here. LeBron has done this a lot. On the other hand, I just did it. I just won a championship. I was, I was the best player on a championship team. So it's like, I understand, like if I'm Tatum, I understand why I'm not like starting over LeBron or why I'm not starting over some of these guys. Sure. But you got to make some room here. And I think that's where like a lot of this motivation is like, hey, like, these guys are, not only am I like, I can play with these guys. No. I am now these guys' peer. I am now a champion along with these guys. Yes. I am now an all-NBA first teamer ahead of many of these guys. And I think if you're looking for motivation, that's where I think it starts from, is like, oh, okay. So I'm not even playing next to LeBron.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
It's the one thing that Tatum has said consistently since winning a championship. All of these guys that did it, now I'm in the same room. I'm in that room as them. Like I can walk in. I feel like I can walk in and be like, hey, I'm part of the club. I just won a championship. And like, hey, champ, I'm a champ too. You're a champ. When I get my ring, I'll be able to like flex it a little bit. But that's that he has taken immense pride in joining that club.
As he should.
And it's part of why he said what are they going to say now?
Yes.
Like, I guess we'll never know. Like all of those things keep on disbelieving his Jordan slogan, whatever that is exactly. And so,
which Steve Kerr said, bet. Like,
challenge accepted. So you're Tatum and you've done all this. And I'm going to go back to something that he said with, I think it was Chris Mannix on the SI and their SI feature, where he said, after losing to the Warriors, you have that, it's almost like a crisis of confidence. Like, can I be the best player on the best team? And then now you have the next year. And he admitted, I wanted to win, but I wanted it to look a certain way. And then you realize that you're playing a certain way and you're not winning that way. That, maybe I have to change that. And he does, and they win. And okay, I've changed that. I've taken a little step back. We won. Oh, okay. Jaylen got the finals MVP, which, hey, I'm good with that. And to his credit, he says, I'm good with that. I love Jaylen. Like, I'm happy that he won it, which, you can be you can be disappointed in not winning it. But like, if you and I, when we were together at Mass Live, if you and I were up for a writing award and you won it, I'd be like, damn, I didn't win, but I'm happy that Tom won.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of disappointment because I want to win, but you won. So I'm like, all right, that's great. Yeah. But then if we're like a bunch of writers got together and we're like, hey, we're going to write a book together on this NBA season. Karalis, you're good. You can go. I'd be like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait, you invited me here to like brainstorm the ideas. And when it comes time to write this thing,
hey, I'm out. Can you make a coffee run real quick? We're going to figure out the title while you're gone.
Sure. You know what I mean? Like that, that moment, it's like, okay, so now, that award that I didn't win is Tom's no longer a part of that thing.
Right.
It just became an award I didn't win. So now Tatum I'm sure there's a part of him is like, well, I get passed over for finals MVP. because now Jaylen Brown's out of the consideration. I got Passover for Finals MVP and now a DNP. Are you kidding me? I just won a championship, and immediately, like the second the buzzer sounds, confetti still on my face, and the disrespect starts right away again. If I'm sitting here as I say former player, not at the NBA level, but just anybody who has played organized competitive basketball, I am sitting here like, is the gym still open? Because I feel like I need to go like hit the weights and get some shots up. Because if that happened to me, I would be just toast, livid that happened to me.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
And then there's Jaylen. And then there's Jaylen. And then there's Jaylen.
Jaylen's off to doing his own disrespect thing, which is entertaining as well.
Let's fold Jaylen into this motivation thing. Just a second. So as I said before, I feel like Steve Kerr tried. Like they made a decision, and this isn't. I'm not going down the road of, well, they're trying to mess with the Celtics. Like I don't think that Steve Kerr is that there's some sort of like, oh, well, we can't have the Celtics winning multiple titles, so watch me mess with their chemistry. I don't think there's that.
Which, as an aside, if you were going to do that, right, the way to do that, if that was your primary aim, here's 100% what you do. You bring Jaylen, and then you DNP him the whole time. You start Drew. You make Derek White the sixth man. You play Tatum, and you bench Jaylen. That's how you mess. If you were expressly trying to like mess with the Celtics, because Tatum's not like, like looking at Derek White and Drew Holiday and being like, wow, am I better than these guys? Like, wow, nobody thinks I'm no. Like you would have, that's the way to go about it if you're trying to screw.
You're right. Up. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. That's the move, because Jaylen is yes. Yeah. He would react differently.
He would not like that.
He would not like that at all.
Yeah.
But Kerr, okay, not a great decision at all. And I don't disagree. This is the millionth time I'm saying it. I don't disagree with at that point going with Derek White over Jaylen Brown, because they very clearly, having watched the few exhibition games that Derek White has played and this game against Serbia, Derek White is absolutely important to Team USA's success. No doubt about it. That was a great move.
And as an aside, as you watch him just be perfect next to all of these great players, it's got to kill a lot of other teams to just be like, God, they just signed him to an extension.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. Like, because like he's perfect. He just fills every gap. It's amazing.
Remember when people were upset at the pick swap out in 2028?
That pick swap.
Remember that was like the thing that people were pissed off about. And now you look back on it and you're like, oh my God, it's one pick, one swap. Yeah. Josh Richardson and Romeo Langford. Like that was what we got.
Also, that team has Wembanyama. Like they're going to be good. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So, but I think Grant Hill kind of tried to wipe the dog poop off of his shoes, and it just didn't go well.
Yeah.
Because he went out and said the thing you probably shouldn't say about Jaylen Brown is the conspiracy theory line about like Jaylen believes in conspiracy theories. Now, Grant Hill is probably trying to protect his sponsor there, because Nike is 100% involved in some of this stuff, and Nike and Jaylen Brown 100% have issues. That's not a surprise. Like, let's be real here. Now, I can't say with any sourced reporting that Nike said this, but as a human being with a brain and the ability to at least add 2 + 2, I can sit there and be like, there's a pretty good chance Nike was like, hey, if you can avoid Jaylen Brown, let's try to avoid Jaylen Brown, because we don't want to have like that. Okay, fine. So Grant Hill should have just left that alone. Be like, nah, there's nothing in play. Don't worry about it. Like, Jaylen can say what he's going to say, but we made a basketball decision. Done. End of story.
End
Very
of story.
succinct.
It's so
That's it.
easy. These are such easy questions to avoid because
Yeah.
like you were saying, it's not like they went out and got some bum. They got Derek White. Like
Right.
it's just like, yeah, Jaylen Brown is a great player and a champion and an NBA Finals MVP, and we made a basketball decision to go with somebody else. Just keep reiterate that in 4 different ways every time you get a different question. Like they'll stop asking eventually. I promise. Like
that's right. That's right. Find the line. You have PR people who are there. Find the words, the word salad that makes sense.
Yeah.
Keep spitting that out, and there you go. But in trying to backtrack and protect Nike and all of that stuff, Grant Hill just makes it worse. So now here's Jaylen Brown. Same thing. Same old thing. Now he's the guy. Finals MVP comes back into play now. He's like, I did it. Not only have I won a championship, I'm finally being recognized. Because with Jaylen, that finally part is huge. Because he said it. He said it. Like,
I'll never win anything.
I directly asked him in Indy about being surprised about winning Eastern Conference MVP. And he was like, yeah, I don't win blank. Like, I don't ever win blank. Like, yeah, it was the most honest moment. Like, yeah, okay, that has bothered you forever.
Yeah.
So he finally wins. He wins that. He wins Finals MVP. So he can sit there and be like, you might say Jayson Tatum was the best player, but I got 2 trophies that say otherwise. And it's not about, again, now it's not about a competition with him and Jayson Tatum. Once you're left off of Team USA, whoever else, this is just about you, the trophies, and Grant Hill. And he's like, I got 2 trophies that say I was the best player on a championship team 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you're telling me no? Okay. So there's Jaylen right there. Now, I'm not saying Jaylen isn't the type to get motivated either. I think both these guys are just self-motivated, but I don't know. When you see that finish line, you cross that finish line, it's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like Jaylen's in places where he's like doing his fashion stuff and he's doing all this other stuff. Very easy to get caught up in the surroundings of people. Be like, hey, champ, how you doing? Oh, come over here. You got to meet this guy. Oh, come here. You got to meet this person. And like finally soaking up that adulation that has eluded you. You just said that it bothered you in not so many words. It was very easy for him to be one of the guys who kind of like gets just jostled off track a little bit. And I feel like this is a thing. It just gets him refocused. Like, okay, all right, I guess I got to show you all again.
I mean, that would be the ideal for the Celtics, right? Like if you're the Celtics, you're like, ooh,
like Brad Stevens, like, yes,
thank you, Grant. Much obliged.
Hey, Steve, just want to DMP him one more time.
One more time. Give run it back one time. Yeah, I mean, to me, one of the interesting things about that was like the conspiracy theory label is it's interesting in this case, right? Because like you think conspiracy theory, it's like I see kind of what he's going for here, but it's like, and like if by conspiracy theory you just mean something is happening behind the scenes, because that I think is what we're saying here, right? Is that like, okay, any conspiracy theory is something that's happening that might not be fully in public, which sure, but also that's like life in the NBA. That's every single thing that has ever happened in the NBA. Like nobody's ever getting the full picture of every, there's no Hard Knocks in the NBA where it's like, yeah, you get the full behind the scenes access. Here's all the stuff that happens, right? Like, so to call it a conspiracy theory, that's, I don't know. I mean, that's that's a weird one because it's like, well, so to be clear then, Grant, Nike has nothing to do with this, because like, if not, then like one, that's kind of hard to believe, but then by completely denying it and by calling it a conspiracy theory, I mean, you're almost kind of making it more that, because you're making it more behind the scenes. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like you're sort of pushing this narrative further from the mainstream, which makes it into more of a conspiracy theory. Like it's sort of a self-fulfilling thing.
Yeah.
But then if Jaylen is right, that Nike did have something to do with it, that looks even worse for you. I don't know. I don't know if
How does that joke go? I've answered, times about my shirt, like whatever. What what I'm talking about?
it's a I don't know. I don't know if you want to do it on the podcast for the original one, but it's like the
Clean it up.
I that's a tough one to clean up. It's like people are asking me questions already answered by my shirt. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Like that says I'm not a something horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
So yeah, like
I
exactly.
am
It's
not a
like,
conspiracy theorist, or this is not a
people keep
conspiracy.
asking me questions
Yeah.
already answered by the Nike sign on my shirt. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That
Yeah.
just the gist works for this
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so it falls under the, you doth protest too much. Like
That's
when you
kind
go,
of that's it. Yeah.
yeah, it's, maybe I should have gone with Shakespeare first as opposed to the crude meme on the internet. But yeah, when you like that's silly conspiracies, like, okay, don't know. Because as soon as you say that, that's the word that you latch onto, and now that makes it a bigger thing.
Yeah.
So that's
And especially with Jaylen, who he's been kind of accused, or at least kind of like conspiracy theorist has been kind of not tied to him, but like traces of it have been kind of attached to him in the past, right? Like that's like, so for him, it's like, I mean, he's going to take that kind of personally, I would imagine, because this is the first time that word has kind of entered his general gravity,
Yeah. And that's something like when you're talking about the things that Jaylen talks about, to equate it to a conspiracy theory, I can understand why he has such a harsh reaction.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about Nike, he's talking about a shoe company, and he's talking about a shoe company that he is protesting because of their business practices, and like and because he's doing that, that's keeping him off of Team USA. He believes that. And to say, well, that's just a conspiracy theory, completely demeans his thought process. He's like, it's one thing to say, hey, I think of this, and let's just say, for the sake of argument, he's wrong, and Grant Hill is just saying, like, nah, you can't go down these roads because it's not true. But when you belittle the thing that he's thinking, all that does is make him dig in.
Right.
It just makes him dig in.
Correct.
It's and that's kind of like a life, just everybody thing.
Yeah.
If I think something and you want to tell me, I don't know. I don't know if that's entirely correct, John. Whatever. Okay, fine. We could talk about it and I can make my case. But if you tell me, John, you're really making stuff up now, I'd be like, whoa,
you're
hold
a
on.
Conspiracy theorist here. Yeah. Like,
yeah. Boom. Like all of a sudden that's aggressive. That amplifies things, man. That turns things up to 10 in a heartbeat, because now I'm offended, and I'm now digging in, and conspiracy, watch me, watch this. How about this? How about that? How about that? And you're like, whoa, whoa,
and that then opens up, like, okay, so you call Jaylen a conspiracy theorist, right? Like, if you call Jaylen a conspiracy theorist, then he's going to be more likely to air more of the evidence, which then you will have to respond to, even if he's wrong. To your point earlier, it's not like Nike doesn't look suspicious here. So then if he starts airing some of that stuff, then you have given it, then you have to, it just keeps the whole thing going. When again, there was such an easy out of just, Jaylen is a great player, a finals MVP. He's an all-star. We have a ton of respect for Jaylen Brown. We made a basketball decision, and we feel good about the roster that we currently have and the players who are on it. And it's just, that's so quick and easy, and not something that's going to just fuel the fire.
So now when the Celtics play the Warriors, or when the Celtics play on TNT and Grant Hill is sitting there on the sidelines as a color commentator, watch out. I've been saying that now for a few days. Watch out, because I'm going to tell you, when it's Celtics Warriors, Tatum 50 piece that's got to be coming. When it's Grant Hill on the sidelines, get out of Jaylen Brown's way, because he's going to do something, and he's going to look, and he's going to like point to his shoes. He's going to do something, like, he's definitely going to do something that will, even a stare down. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. Just definitely watch out for this stuff.
I think if Grant Hill calls a Jaylen Brown game, that's definitely coming. I don't know if I agree with the Warriors thing, because I've said it before. These are the therapy Celtics. I think that this team may be well adjusted enough to just be like, all right, yeah, that sucked. Well, we're gonna go out and win, and we're just
yeah.
Tatum might be even keeled enough to just kind of, we're gonna go out and
Yeah, but I still feel like on something like that, he could take a night off.
He could.
The therapy Celtics could take a night off and be like,
my only evidence against it is that he had opportunities to take a night off and be selfish last year, and he did not take those opportunities, which I had a ton of respect for. But you're right. He might.
Yeah. I just feel like, if the guys, if Jaylen, he and Jaylen could just be sitting there, be like, if we see Grant Hill, Jaylen be like, it's me.
Sounds like
if we see Steve Kerr, it's you. And Jason's like, deal. And that's it. All you need is one person. You just need Jaylen or Jayson on board, and to be the guy. Like, I'm just going to facilitate and lead. I'll set every pick for you and go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's it. And we'll see. It'll be fun to watch. And thank you, by the way, to these guys for giving us just juicy stuff to talk about in the middle of the worst down. I mean, we're talking about August is around the corner, and these guys, we're going 37 minutes on the podcast. And we still keep going about these guys because there's so much to it. But we'll see. The Team USA does play on Wednesday. We'll see what happens there. I wouldn't be surprised if Tatum plays 35 minutes in that game. Yeah. So
he just goes full Nick Nurse with Kemba and just like, all right, you want minutes? 40
minutes. Go. Yeah, which would be just as bad. Honestly, it would be
so much worse.
Absolutely. Worse. Absolutely. So, all right, we'll see how it goes. Tom, appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you, man.
And I always appreciate you, the listener, the watcher. Hey, go check out Locked On NBA. I'm on today's Locked On NBA. We talk about Zach LaVine in Chicago. We talk about the offseason survey on ESPN. We talk about FIBA and NBA. So there's plenty there to listen to and watch. So go make that your second listen. Appreciate you being here for your first listen every day. If you're not subscribed, please do. Ring the bell on YouTube. Hop into the comment section. Let us know what you're thinking. This conversation still continues. And then once you're done all that, share the podcast. I would love it if you spread the word. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.